Welcome to your daily dose of Sunday School, episode 83. We're continuing with Greg Koukl's Tactics. We're on chapter 11, Practical Suicide. Now, some things aren't actually contradictory, self-defeating. Some things are only self-defeating as soon as you try to apply them. So, for instance, it's wrong to say people are wrong. Well, I could have that opinion, and as long as it's inside my head, I haven't actually contradicted myself. As soon as I say it, it's wrong to say people are wrong, then I have contradicted myself. He gave a funny example of criticizing a lot of televangelists, some of the crooked preachers that are on TV trying to get money. And he had someone call into the station and tell him and correct him, say, you shouldn't be correcting Christian teachers publicly on the radio. Well, that was a fine opinion until they applied it in that way. He's had people, because he's a, apologist, he's had Christians arguing with him that it's wrong for him to get into arguments. So they're turning to the Bible. They're doing exactly what he does, what they're telling him not to do. He was on a program talking about homosexuality and how it's a sin, and someone called in and said, I think it's wrong to condemn anybody for anything. Well, if you think about the tactics that we've learned so far, we might be naturally, our tendency might be naturally to just say, well, I'm not condemning them. I am, that's for God to do on the last day. If they don't repent, we're all condemned unless we come to Jesus. But what I'm doing is I am saying that it is wrong. I'm pointing out their error. That might be something we naturally tend to do, but he used his tactics to ask questions and say, okay, so you say it's wrong to condemn anybody for anything. Why are you condemning me? And they kind of went back and forth, and it kind of took the person a little bit time to clarify this. But finally, once they understood what he was saying, they said, well, I'm not condemning you, I'm reprimanding you. That's what they said. And see how much more powerful that is for them to come to that conclusion, so that then all he has to say is, well, I'm not condemning homosexuals, I'm reprimanding them for doing something wrong. Of course, wanting them to be able to see they're wrong so they can repent and receive God's way of salvation. Koukl talks about moral relativism is always going to be practical suicide. What's moral relativism? That morality isn't universal, and you can't you might have your own personal morality, but you cannot apply it person to person. Never works. So someone comes up and says, you shouldn't force your morality on other people. Why not? Well, it's wrong to force your morality on other people. Well, they've already disproven their own argument. Well, why do you want to force your morality on me then, if it's wrong? Well, I'm not forcing it might take a while for them to understand that they are, but typically they will eventually. The moral relativists, the one who thinks that morality is just kind of completely private, they are not going to be able to live consistently for more than a few minutes. Eventually, someone's going to cut them off in traffic. Eventually, someone's going to cut in line, and then they're going to be concerned with what's just and right, and suddenly they will not be a moral relativist. You cannot live that way, and so they're always going to end up contradicting themselves very, very soon. Just, pay attention. Romans 2:1, Coco quoted this, so it was good. So therefore you have no excuse, O man, every one of you who judges, for in passing judgment on another you condemn yourself, because you the judge practice the very same thing. Now that's directed in context at the Jewish application of the law. But I think it's important to understand that this is something that we all do. It's important to be repenting and to be hating our own sin and turning to Christ for forgiveness, because we're always going to be failing to live up to our own ideals. Even those people who don't think they have any ideals, they're claiming they have no ideals for other people, they actually do. And we're all going to be failing to live up to whatever those ideals are. That's why we need Christ. So, I'll share one more. He talked about there was this evangelism campaign for Jews, towards Jews in Chicago, from Christians years ago, and this was the Anti-Defamation League, which is kind of all about protecting Jews from being thought badly of and talked badly of. And the media, everybody was just, it was a Southern Baptist doing this and asking people to pray for Jews, that they'd come to Christ, and people just lost their minds. And he said, well, he saw a program with Southern Baptist preachers on there calmly talking about it, and he pointed out that all they need to do is, why do you want to change our religion? Because our religion says that we go out and tell people about Christ and encourage them to come to him. Why do you want to change our religion? You think it's wrong for us to change these people's religion? Well, then don't try to change our religion.